my class is going to join for the first session. And because you are not only going to give lectures, right? You are going to also give a simple workshop, but the simple workshop is around 150.
Yeah, no, I mean, from the agenda, I can say today I have 2 continued lectures.
Yes.
And on 12th of September, I have another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on 16th of September, I have 2 workshops. And one is focusing on writing and publishing in international index journals. And the second one is online sales and rural income growth.
Do you want it to be in one? Because actually we set it in a one day. So in Saturday, there will be a break in between the 2 topics.
Yeah.
But it's actually, is it okay for you if you do this on the same day, that Saturday?
Oh yeah, definitely. If your university is happy to do it on the same day, and especially on Saturday.
Yeah, because on Saturday usually many people can come, but in weekdays like this, it's a bit challenging to put many people together like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Because in your previous webinar, it was very interesting, so it gets more attention to many people. Therefore, the demand of your topic is increasing here.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Right.
great. And and people at your university are very active in studying.
Yes. Okay. By the way, do you get the traditional clothes from Professor Alan already?
Is it clothes or is it, no? Yeah, yes, it's a traditional clothes.
Actually a traditional clothes, but you need to sew it to be to be some kind of clothes to wear. It's not ready made.
Oh, it's a clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when Professor Allen gave it passed to me, I got confused because you mentioned to me it's a clothes, but I thought it's a clothes. I was thinking it's a for table clothes.
Sorry. Okay. So I hope that you like
Oh yeah, I like the color.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope that you one day can visit Indonesia like Professor Alan Renwick. Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely. And let's
right.
try to find a time next year.
Lovely. All right. So because we have already get the attendance from students here. Okay.
And when do you go to Japan, Norway? Because I'm visiting Japan this year.
Actually, I got the LOA from Japan and the Netherlands. That is Wageningen University, and the LPDB scholarship urged me to choose one that is suited with my expertise. And Wageningen University is more. So next time if you go to Germany, please don't hesitate to drop by, because many people say that Netherlands and Germany is not too far. So I canceled Japan.
Oh, so finally you decided to study your PhD in Netherlands.
Yeah, in the Netherlands.
Oh, it's better, probably, I think. And the universities in Netherlands are more international.
I see. I hope that I can get so many knowledge for me. I know that it is going to be challenging, but yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to.
I'm so glad to hear that, because in Japan, very few universities have an English program. Many professors in Japan do not speak English, but in Netherlands, everyone can speak very good English, because in European countries, people in Netherlands have the best levels of English.
All right.
Compared with all European countries.
Yeah. And I saw that your expertise now for your master degree is also in Kiel in Germany, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I visited Netherlands when I was studying my PhD in Kiel by bus, traveling from Kiel to Amsterdam.
Ah, all right. Okay, now we can continue our program first. It's very nice to see you, to have you again in this event. Ibu Kadep sudah di sini, alhamdulillah. Okay. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to welcome you all to the 3-in-1 program on agricultural product marketing. This program promises to be a dynamic and insightful event, and we are very honored to have a distinguished lecturers with us today, Dr. Wanglin Ma, hailing from Lincoln University in New Zealand. So the Honorable Head of Department, Dr. Fitriadina Riana, all of lecturers of Faculty of Agriculture, University of Brawijaya, and also beloved students. So before we dive into the program, let's quickly run through the schedule for today. We'll begin with a captivating opening speech by our Head of Department, and then going to be taking pictures together. Then a keynote address by Dr. Wanglin Ma, where he'll share his expertise on agricultural product marketing. His insights are sure to spark engaging discussions. Following Dr. Ma's keynote, we'll have a Q&A sessions. Please feel free to submit your questions through the chat or raise hand later on, and we'll do our best to address them during these sessions. So after the Q&A, we'll take a short break first because we are going to have 2 meetings for today to refresh ourselves. You can stretch your legs, grab a snack, or simply relax. And following the breaks, we have a panel discussion. Going to be with Dr. Wanglin Ma. And that's all of the opening. Now, I would like to welcome Ms. Head of Department. Time is yours, Dr. Fitriadina Riana.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Novi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the virtual agenda 3-in-1 program on agricultural product marketing today in Zoom meeting. The Honorable Mr. Dr. Wanglin Ma as a guest lecturer today from Lincoln University, New Zealand. Thank you for your coming. The Honorable, the lecturer of Socio-Economic Department, Faculty of Agriculture, Brawijaya University, and the audience and 3-in-1 agenda today. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, we can meet again by online via Zoom. The opportunity to get material sharing and discussion with a guest lecture about approaches in agricultural product marketing demand, elasticity of agricultural product. Especially thanks for Dr. Wanglin Ma as guest lecturer from Lincoln University, New Zealand, because you are ready to attend according to our invitation for discussion and sharing with us. We hope this agenda today can give a benefit for the audience. And I hope today's event goes well. I think enough from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for the lovely speech from our head of department, Dr. Fitriadina Riana. And now before we start with the lectures from Dr. Wanglin Ma, let us take pictures together. Please turn on your camera, everyone. All right. Okay, Mr. Edo, are you ready?
Ready.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to count 1 until 3, not 1 until 100. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Smile, please. Sudah? All right. Okay. Thank you very much for the participations. Now we will proceed with the lectures, and I'd like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Wanglin Ma. Time is yours.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Novi, and thank you, Dina, for your kind introduction, and thank you for inviting me to be here to give this guest lectures. And so, good morning. You're welcome to the guest lecture today. So in today's guest lecture, we have two main parts. The first part, I will talk about approaches to the study of agriculture marketing. And the second part is about demand and elasticity of agriculture products. Now let's look at the first part, approaches to the study of agriculture marketing. So what are the learning objectives of this lecture? The first one is to distinguish differences between different types of marketing approaches. The second objective is to clearly understand the marketing channels. The third one is to understand marketing cost and marketing margin. So I think there are 4 main different approaches to the study of marketing. And these approaches explain clearly the mechanism and the concept of marketing. So the first common one is a commodity approach, or we can also call it product approach. The second one is institutional approach. The third one is the functional approach. The fourth one is the marketing approach. Now let's look at the first type of a marketing approach. It's called commodity approach or product approach. So for commodity approach, it refers to the study of a product in detail. For example, we can focus on wheat, we can focus on maize or corn. The marketing situation of each product chosen for study on the commodity approach is examined from such viewpoints as sources and the conditions of supply, producer, marketing organizations. So for example, agricultural cooperatives or women-based organizations in some countries, they are all part of the producer marketing organizations. They help farmers to sell their products. They help to link farmers to domestic and international markets, because for small-scale farmers in developing countries, they usually face barriers to access to domestic and international markets, and also policies, different middlemen who take part in distributing the product, for example, wholesalers and retailers. Depending the type of the supply chain, the number of wholesalers and retailers might be different. So on the commodity approach, a problem with regards to a particular product are studied in detail under this approach, and the products of any nature can be covered on the commodity approach, such as agricultural products, for example, wheat, rice, maize, or industry products, such as machine tools, laser machines, generators, oil agents, and any other products can be studied on the commodity approach. So in practice, commodity approach tends to be repetitive and time-consuming. So on the commodity approach, the flow of goods and the diffusion from the producers to the consumers will be studied. And on the community approach, emphasis is given to production center, involvement of men in selling and purchasing of the products, methods and means of transportation, problem in sales and advertisement of goods, problems in financing, storing, and other related matters. So community approach mainly refer to how people involved in the producing and selling activities interact with each other. The commodity approach of marketing is related to demand and supply of commodity. This approach is also related to channel of distribution and transportation. So this is the first type of commodity approach. The second type of marketing approach is called institutional approach. This approach relates to various marketing institutions, for example, wholesalers and retailers engaged in marketing. In applying this institutional approach, a thorough study with regard to a particular middleman is undertaken. So the middleman could be the wholesalers or retailers. So for example, in retailing, nature and significance of retailing in terms of functions and services performed and rendered by retail institutions like department stores or multiple shops, major order horses. So for the institutional approach, they have marketing institutions are involved in. So for the typical example is wholesalers and retailers, and we also have other types of marketing institutions. We can learn this later. So besides wholesalers and retailers, other marketing institutions can be stock exchanges or produce exchange or banks or regulated markets. They are all involved in transactions. In short, institutional approach can be said that this approach is applicable on various types of marketing intermediaries. So they serve as intermediaries on the supply chain. Institutional approach of marketing gives emphasis to the study of marketing institutions and agencies. And previously, I mentioned that wholesalers and retailers are typical examples of the marketing institutions. So apart from those, wholesalers, importers, transporters, and exporters or business agents, transport organizations, banks, insurance companies, or finance companies, and so on, play their role in marketing by supplying or distributing commodities from producers to the consumers. They serve as different roles by linking products from producers to the end user. Because normally we cannot buy products from farmers directly. And sometimes the products should be processed before they can be sold to farmers. Therefore, the institutional approach centers its study to them. the study how the different institutions and agencies function together for making system is the institutional approach of marketing. In other words, for the institutional approach, it refers to how different institutions and agencies interact with each other to help product sales. The institutional approach studies the various agencies and the business structures that perform the marketing task. The institutional approach considers nature and character of the various middlemen and the related agencies, and also the arrangement and organization of the marketing machinery. So, for example, in some countries, for farmers, they can, for big farms, not smallholder farmers. For example, for wine producers in France, they can either sell their products, their wine to other countries directly, or they can sell their wine to the local agents. Local agents can further resell those products purchased from farmers to agents at abroad in international markets, and then the agents in another country will resell those products to other agents or directly to farmers or to consumers. So here, in this example, agents is an example of the institutional approach. They serve as intermediaries in the institutional approach. Now let's look at the middleman in agricultural product marketing. So marketing middlemen are those individuals or business firms. So for the middleman, it does not really refer to people. So it could be a person or a business firms. So marketing middlemen are those individuals or business firms that specialize in performing the various marketing functions. And then these are merchant middleman, like a businessman. The businessman might purchase the product from the consumer directly, and then resell the product to other retailers or wholesalers. And the middleman, the merchant middleman, tries to get profit from the price difference. For example, they purchase a product at a lower price, but sell it at a higher price. The second type is agent middleman. Agent means a business firm or business organization. The third type is a speculative middleman. The fourth one is processors and manufacturers. And the last one is the facilitative organizations or middleman. For the facilitative organization, for example, farmer organizations or agriculture organizations or agriculture cooperatives. For the farmer organizations, they have different names in different countries, but the function is the same. They help to improve farmers or their members' production and marketing performance. So for some organizations, they purchase products from their member farmers, and then resell those products to other organizations or other middlemen. So in this picture, the red person is a middleman. So sometimes because of the information asymmetry, buyers and sellers do not know each other. So for example, for farmers, they know how to produce the product. They know the attributes of the product, but farmers do not have the marketing information. For buyers, they have the market information, but they have no information related to the production. Or for buyers, they have no information related to the attributes of the product. For example, they have no idea how farmers apply fertilizers and pesticides to produce those products. So in this case, a middleman appears who can help to reduce the information asymmetry and facilitate the transitions. The first type is a merchant middleman. Merchant middleman take title and therefore own the product, the handle. They buy and sell for their own again. And the retailer buys products for resale directly to the ultimate consumers of the goods. Ultimate consumers also means end users. Wholesalers sell the commodity to retailers. Other wholesalers and industry users, but do not sell in significant amount to ultimate consumers. So here, we need to understand the differences between retailer and wholesaler. So retailer may directly sell their product to consumers, or retailers may sell the products to other retailers. And then other retailers will sell the product to consumers. But normally for wholesalers, they do not sell their products to consumers and users directly. Wholesalers sell their products to retailers, and then retailers sell the products to the ultimate consumers or end users. So for example, Norway cannot buy juice from a juice producing factory. She can only buy juice from the supermarket, because the juice company needs to sell their products to wholesaler. The wholesaler resell their products to retailer. So supermarket is an example of the retailer. So for consumers, we cannot buy the juice from the juice producing factories directly. We cannot buy juice from wholesalers. We can only buy juice from the retailers, for example, supermarket or convenience store. So do you have a convenience store in India or in Indonesia?
Yes, we have convenience store.
Everywhere here. The second type is agent middleman. Agent middleman act only as representatives of their clients. They don't take title, therefore don't own the products they handle. Agent middleman receive their income in the form of a fee and a commission. They sell their services to their principals, not physical goods to customers, commission agents, granted with more power than broker. So for the agent get the income from the commission fee rather than the money obtained from the price difference. Agent only provides the service to get the commission fee. So for example, the agent may say, I help you to find buyers. And then you give me the commission fee. Commission fee means the fee paid to thank for the service provided or to acknowledge the service provided. Brokers usually don't have the physical control over the product. The third type, here there's a mistake. The third type is the speculative middleman. So the speculative middleman are those who take title to products with the major purpose of profiting from price movements. So they try to benefit from the price difference. They buy products from farmers or other agents at a lower price, but resell it at a higher price. The fourth type is the processors and manufacturers. Processors and manufacturers exist primarily to undertake some actions on products to change their form. So normally, when we say processors and manufacturers, they will change the shape of the product. Agriculture processors take an active part in other institutional aspects of marketing. Some act like their own buying agents in producing areas. Some participate in the wholesaling of their products to retailers. So for example, we have the fish can. We can buy fish can. So fish can is not fish. The shape of the product has been changed. So probably for processors, they buy fresh or raw materials from smallholder farmers, and then they process the products to other types of products. Why do they need to process? Because processing can add additional value to the product. So probably if you buy fresh fish, the price is cheaper. However, if you buy fish can, the price will be dramatically increased. That's why they try to process the products, because for any companies or firms, their optimal goal is to maximize profit. The last one is facilitative organizations. Facilitative organizations assist the various middlemen in performing their tasks. Such organizations do not directly participate in marketing process as either merchants or agents. They provide the physical facilities for the handling of products or for bringing buyers and sellers together. They may also aid in grading, arranging, and transmitting payments. The typical example I just explained is farmer organizations or agricultural cooperatives. They serve as facilitative organizations to link farmers or their members to buyers. And sometimes they can help smallholder farmers or their members to negotiate a better price. Because for smallholder farmers, their negotiation power is quite weak. But for organization, farm organization or cooperatives, they can have a better negotiation power when helping their members to sell their products. So through the facilitative organizations, farmers can sell their products at higher prices, because we know the for the product, gross revenue equals to price times the quantity of the products produced. So a higher price can determine a higher level of gross revenue. For farmers, they always like higher prices. They always like higher yields. So for instance, the facilitative organizations participating in the coffee marketing in Ethiopia include district agricultural office, cooperatives or unions, or government and private banks, informal lenders, and the coffee quality inspection office. So for different forms of organizations, they help to link farmers with the buyers. The third type of the marketing approach is a functional approach. So at the very name suggests, this approach comprises of the study of various activities or functions performed in the process of marketing of goods and services. It analyzes each function in relation to the importance of its performance. Various marketing functions are, for example, buying, selling, financing, transporting, backing, risk bearing, and market information. These are examples of marketing functions. So by analyzing and studying every function in detail and the problems confronted in the performance of each function, it is possible to understand marketing properly. And a functional approach of marketing indicates the study of the functions of marketing. Whatever functions are marketing performs is called marketing as a whole. Marketing performs exchange function, physical distribution function, and other auxiliary function. The study of these functions is a marketing. The first one is exchange function. Exchange function of marketing include purchasing and selling, or buying and selling. These are the basic functions of marketing. The second one is the physical distribution function. So physical distribution function includes transportation and storage. These functions transport goods and the products to the right place at right time as desired by the customers. And the third type is auxiliary function. The auxiliary function of marketing include standardization and classification, financing. Standardization, for example, when you sell apples to supermarkets, so you can see the size of the apples is similar. in one supermarket. In the sport market, you may say the sizes of apples sold by farmers might be different. But if you buy apples or other products from the supermarket, you can see the sizes of the same product are quite similar. That is because of standardized and classification of the products before selling. These functions simplify the exchange function. The functional approach of marketing is related to the study of a flow of commodities and concerned organizations. It gives more emphasis to the function that should be done by marketing, but it does not care the consumers' needs and wants, and give less importance to the use of the functions of marketing. The first one is making approach. This approach is of a vital importance from the viewpoint of marketing management. Various decisions are taken at every level of management. In successful marketing, decision making, this type is called decision making approach, and one word is missing. Let me type it here. Yeah, and in successful marketing, decision making occupies an important place. Share the screen. Decision making occupies an important place. The marketing manager should be very expert and competent in his job so that takes proper decisions for marketing the goods and services. The decision is based on two variables which can be classified as uncontrollable and controllable. Uncontrollable variable related to economic, social, ecological, psychological, and political forces, which are the basic causes of market change. On the other hand, controllable variables are within the control of the organizations, because for some decisions made by the organizations, they can control it, but they cannot control everything. And this refers to individual firms' adjustment in prices, products, advertisement, and selling policies. Both these variables have a marked influence on decision making. These variables should be properly interpreted by the marketing manager before taking a decision. So what are the examples of the uncontrollable? For example, the market uncertainty or market fluctuations. For managers or organizations, they can control which buyers they sell their products to. However, they cannot control the market fluctuation or market uncertainties. Now, let's further look at the marketing functions. Marketing functions can be broadly classified into 3 groups. The first group is exchange functions. The second type is the physical functions. The third type is the facilitating functions. Under exchange functions, the typical example is the buying and the selling, because for farmers, they need to sell their products to markets. For consumers, they need to buy those products. Under physical functions, the examples include, for example, storage, transportation, processing, and packaging. For some products, such as grain, they cannot be sold timely or immediately. They must be stored and then to be sold at an appropriate time. The third one is the facilitating functions. For example, the standardization, the financing, or risk bearing, market intelligence. Now, let's look at the first type, exchange functions. The exchange functions is a basic function of marketing concerned with buying and selling. This involves decision relating to what to produce, what changes to be made in product quality, product line, or product mix, so that there's a proper coordination between supply and demand. Why do they need to consider the coordination between supply and demand? Because for producers, they are producing a particular type of a product to satisfy the consumer's demand. If there's no consumer demand, or consumers do not like that product, farmers could not sell their products. There will be a surplus, and farmers will lose. For farmers as a producer, their goal is also to maximize their profit. Let's look at buying. So buying of goods or services is the first and important function of a marketing process. Producers, intermediaries, wholesalers, and retailers do this function. They buy, assemble, and sell. Producers buy raw materials or semi-finished goods to produce finished goods, and intermediaries buy goods to resell. Ultimate consumers are also called end consumers, buy goods to use from producers directly or from intermediaries indirectly. Different functions involved in buying goods, like making buying plan or purchasing plan, deciding the quality and the quantity of the goods or services to be bought, selecting proper channel for supply. So for consumers, they always need to consider the quality and quantity of the goods they plan to buy because of capital constraint or income constraint. To establish business contact with suppliers and to sign contract on different terms and conditions such as quality, quantity, price, delivery date, and so on. With them are also the activities of a buying function. buying function is not easy as it is seen. For this, buyers need to have a spatial knowledge and experience, because they need spatial knowledge and experience to judge the attributes or the functions of the products they are going to buy. Now let's look at the selling. Selling of goods or service is other important as well as the complex function of marketing. Under this, goods and services are handed over to buyers from producers. This function is important for producers, intermediaries, consumers, and general public. In face, existence of any business firm is not possible without selling. That is the first function of the marketing function. That's called exchange function. For buyers, they need to buy products from producers. For producers, they need to sell their products to buyers or ultimate consumers or end users. The second type is the physical functions. So for example, storage, transportation, processing, they are all activities involved in physical functions. So the physical function are those activities that involve the handling, movement, and the physical change of the actual commodity itself. For example, for storage, storage balances supply and the demand for agriculture products. So when there is a surplus means supply is higher than demand. So in this case, the surplus products can be stored and then resell when there is a shortage. Agricultural production in developing countries is usually seasonal, while demand is generally continuous throughout the year. So for example, we cannot produce apple in some seasons, but apple is demanded the whole year round. So in this case, the agents can choose to store some apples and then resell when there is a shortage. Store can also help to increase the price. For example, in winter, we do not produce apple. If we buy apple in winter from the supermarket, probably the price will be higher than the price sold in summer or autumn. Packing and packaging. Packing is the first function performed in the marketing of agricultural commodities. It is required for nearly all farm products at every stage of the marketing process. They have to be packed and packaged. The type of the container used in the packing of commodities varies with the type of the commodities as well as with the stage of marketing. Packing means the wrapping and creating of goods before they are transported. Goods have to be packed either to preserve them or for delivery to buyers. Packaging is a part of packing, which means placing the goods in small packages like bags, boxes, bottles, or parcels for sale to the ultimate consumers. So, for example, this is packing and packaging. We cannot carry the goods directly. They must be packaged before they can sell to consumers. Now let's look at the storage and warehousing. Storage function concerned with making goods and with making goods available at the desired time. It allows a smooth and as far as possible uninterrupted flow of a product to the market. It tries to balance supply and demand. This is what I have just explained. The next function is the transportation. Transportation function concerned with making the goods available at the right place. It includes activities as the weighting of alternative routes and the types of transportation to use, activities in the preparation for shipment, such as crating and loading. So making the transportation can make the product available where it is needed without adding unreasonable to the overall cost of the product. Adequate performance of this function requires consideration of alternative routes and types of transportation, with a view to achieving timeliness, maintaining produce quality, and minimizing shipping costs. So for transportation function, we need to consider the time used for delivering the product and also the quality that can be maintained. For example, when we deliver a product from place A to place B, we should guarantee the product will maintain its original quality. It will not be rotted. And also, we should try to minimize the transportation costs. The last type of the physical function is the processing. The processing function would include all those essentially manufacturing activities that change the basic form of the product. So we see sometimes for processing, they change the shape of the product. Most agricultural product is not in the form suitable for direct delivery to the consumers when it is first harvested. Rather, it needs to be changed in some way before it can be used. The formal changing activity is one that adds value to the product. Changing green coffee beans into roasted beans, cassava into gari or livestock feed, and full fruit branches into palm oil increase the value of the product because the converted product has a greater utility to the buyer. So, for example, we cannot directly sell cow to consumers. So we have to sell cow in the form of beef. The shape of the cow has been changed from cow to beef, and processing can increase the value of the product. For example, for cow, it has different parts on the body. So different parts can be sold at different prices. The last type is facilitative functions. Facilitative functions are those that make possible the smooth performance of the exchange and the physical functions. And the standardization function is concerned with the establishment and maintenance of uniform measurements for both quality and quantity. It simplifies the buying and selling. Standardization means the determination of the standards to the establishment for different commodities. And the standards are established on the basis of certain characteristics such as weight, size, color, appearance, texture, moisture content, or sugar content even, stable length, amount of foreign matter, ripeness, or sweetness, taste, chemical content. So these are standards required for the product. So these products are usually required by the ultimate consumers or end users. For example, probably for some consumers, they like very ripe apple, but for some consumers, they prefer hard apples. So the grading and the standardization can help meet the preference and demands of different ultimate consumers. Standardization means making the quality specifications of the grades union among buyers and sellers over space and time. And grading means the sorting of unlike lots of the product into different lots according to the quality specifications laid down. And the typical example is grading of the, for example, apples. They have different sizes. They are graded into different groups to help market sales. It is a method of dividing products into certain groups or lots in accordance with predetermined standards. Grading follows standardization. It is a sub-function of standardization. So, concerned with for the standardization function, it is concerned with the establishment and the maintenance of uniform measurements of produce quality and quantity. This function simplifies buying and selling as well as reducing marketing costs by enabling buyers to specify precisely what they want and the suppliers to communicate what they are able and willing to supply with respect to both quality and quantity of the product. So standardization can help buyers or consumers to understand what they want and help sellers to understand what they can sell to the market. In the absence of standard weights and measures, trade either becomes more expensive to conduct or impossible altogether. Quality differences in agriculture products may be due to production methods and or because of the quality of inputs used. And to produce a product, we need raw materials or production inputs. Technological innovation can also give rise to quality differences. When producers use different skills or technologies, they can produce different standards of the product. In addition, a buyer's assessment of a product's quality is often an expression of personal preferences. Therefore, for example, in some markets, a small banana is judged to be some sense better than a large banana, while sugar is considered superior to white sugar is considered superior to yellow sugar. Another function of the facilitative function is financing. The financing function of marketing involves the use of capital to meet the financial requirements of the agencies engaged in various marketing activities, like credit from various lending agencies, commercial bank, development bank, or credit cooperatives or credit union. In almost any production system, there are inevitable lags between investing in the necessary raw materials and receiving the payment for the sale of produce. During these lag periods, some individuals or institutions must finance the investment. So what are the raw materials such as machinery, seeds, fertilizers, or packaging or stocks? They're used to produce the final product that can be consumed by end users. The next one is risk taking or risk bearing. So the risk-bearing function is accepting of the possibility of a loss in the marketing of an agricultural product. Some risks, such as quality loss or quality deterioration, and also the price risk. For example, the market is full of uncertainties and fluctuations. The price is unstable. So you sell your banana at 2 rupees per kg this month. It does not mean you can sell the banana at the same price next month because of market uncertainties and market fluctuations. So if the price will be lower next month, you have to bear the profit loss due to price reduction. So in both the production and the marketing of a product, the possibility of incurring losses is always present. This is unavoidable. Physical risk include the destruction of deterioration of the product through fine, excessive heat or cold or pace or floods or earthquakes. These are uncontrollable. Market risk are those of adverse changes in the value of the produce between the processes of production and consumption. A change in consumer tastes can reduce the attractiveness of the product and is therefore also a risk. All of these risks are borne by those organizations, companies, and individuals. So, for example, consumers prefer to buy green apples this year. However, they prefer red apples next year. Consumers' tastes have been changed. Therefore, in the following year, the sale of green apple become difficulty because of consumers' tastes have been changed. In this case, the market risk also occurred. The last type of the facilitative function is market intelligence, or we call it market information. So it is the job of collecting, interpreting, and disseminating the large variety of data to the smooth operation in the marketing process. Its role is to reduce the level of risk in design and decision making. Marketing information is an important marketing function which ensures the smooth and efficient operation of the marketing system. Accurate, adequate, and timely availability of marketing information facilitates decisions about when and where to market products. So for the market intelligence, it is a process of collecting, interpreting, and disseminating information relevant to marketing decisions. So what's the role of market intelligence? The role of market intelligence is to reduce the level of risk in decision making. Through market intelligence, the seller will find out what the consumer needs and wants. The alternative is to find out through sales or the lack of them. Now let's look at the marketing channels. So in our previous discussion, we have discussed the different types of a marketing approach. So marketing channels are the chain of intermediaries through whom the various agricultural products passes from the producers to the consumers. Marketing channel represents the route through which agricultural products move from the consumers from producers to consumers. It is a seat of firms and individuals that take a title to or assist in transferring title to a good or service as it moves from the producer to the final consumer. So for example, the typical example is a producer or manufacturer to retailer, and then from retailer to consumer, or from producer to consumer, or from producer to wholesaler, and then to retailer, and then to consumer, or from producer to commission agent, and then resale to other places. As I previously mentioned, for example, for French wine, they can directly sell their wine to other markets, in the international markets, or they can sell their products to other countries through agents. So in this case, they have to pay commission fee to the agents. So these are different marketing channels. Here, the shorter the supply chain, the lower the marketing cost. and the lower the price received by consumers. So nowadays, short supply chain becomes popular. Like a producer sells their products to commission agents, and then commission agents directly sell their products to customers or consumers. So these are examples of marketing channels. And here I emphasize that the shorter the marketing channel or the supply chain, the lower the marketing cost is. The lower marketing cost means the lower price that might be received by consumers. Now let's look at what is the marketing cost. Marketing cost is an actual cost incurred by each agency involved in the marketing channel. They include labor cost or container cost, rent, utilities, advertising, selling expenses, depreciation, allowance, waiting, loading, unloading, losses, and sparages and interest costs. These are all costs of marketing costs. Marketing costs vary from commodity to commodity or from product to product. This is due to the more waste a product has, the greater the marketing costs. And the more perishable the product, the greater will be the marketing cost. And also the more processing of the product, the greater will be the marketing cost. And the greater the amount of produce handling and transportation, the greater the marketing costs. And here, let's look at how to calculate the total cost of marketing of a commodity. And this is example. C in this equation means the total cost of marketing of the commodity. And CF refers to cost paid by the producer from the type of the produce leaves till he sells it. We call it production costs. CMI means the cost incurred by the middleman in the process of buying and selling the products. For farmers, when they produce a product, they have to pay a cost. For other intermediaries, when they resell or sell the products to final consumers, they also have to pay cost. So the total cost means the cost occurred at different stages when selling the product. Now let's look at the marketing margin. So we just learned marketing costs, marketing channel, marketing costs. So what is a marketing margin? A marketing margin is a percentage of the final weighted average selling price taken by each stage of the marketing chain system. It would be either absolute or relative marketing margin. So it's a percentage of the final weighted average selling price taken by each stage of the marketing chain. The total marketing margin is a difference between what the consumers pay and what the producer or farmer receives for his product. In other words, it is the difference between retail price and farm price. So this is the total marketing margin. So marketing margin refers to a price. The difference between retail price and farm price. The margin must cover the cost involved in transporting produce from one stage to the next stage and provide reasonable return to those doing the marketing activities. That's part of the reason why the price paid by the ultimate consumers is quite high. So when the supply chain becomes longer, the price received by the end users will be longer, because if it is low, it cannot be covering the marginal or the marketing cost. A wide margin means usually high prices to consumers and low price to producers. The total marketing margin may be subdivided into different components. All the costs of marketing services and the profit margin or net returns. Net returns means the difference between gross revenue minus the variable costs. The marketing margin in the imperfect market is likely to be higher than in the competitive market because of the expected abnormal profit. What is imperfect market? For example, monopoly or oligopoly market, the imperfect market. So at the competitive market, the consumers are price takers. They cannot determine the price. However, at the monopoly market, the sellers can decide the market. Can decide the market price for a product.
YouTube ra kena di anu dah. Screenshot. Iki aplikasi tidak diizinkan.
But market margin can also be high even in the competitive market due to higher real market cost. The common method used in estimating marketing margin is a comparison of prices at different levels of marketing over the same period of time. Now let's look at how to calculate the marketing margin. So total gross marketing margin is always related to the final price paid by the end buyers, and it is expressed as a percentage. So TGMM refers to the total gross marketing margin, which equals to the consumer price minus producer price divided by consumer price. Consumer price means the price paid by the end consumers. Producer price means the price received by the producers when selling their products. So formally, it equals to PC minus PP divided by PC. Consumer price minus producer price divided by consumer price. So what is the gross marketing margin of producers? Gross marketing margin of producers is useful to introduce the producer's gross margin, which is a portion of the price paid by the consumer that goes to producer. The producer's participation is calculated as a gross marketing margin of a producer equals to consumer price minus gross marketing margin divided by consumer price. So by comparison, when we calculate the total gross marketing margin, it is the consumer price minus producer price. And here, consumer price minus gross marketing margin is a way to calculate gross marketing margin of producers. The above equation tells us that a higher marketing margin diminishes the producer share and vice versa. It also provides an indication of welfare distribution among production and marketing agents. So if the marketing margin increases, the gross marketing margin of producers will be reduced. So here, there's an example to calculate the marketing margin. When the buying price from the farmer is for a product is $0.5 per kg, the weighted average wholesaler selling price is $0.9 per kg, and the weighted average retail price is $1.17 per kg. So here, the share to the producer equals to 0.5 divided by 1.17, which is 43%. That means 40% of the final retail price is shared by farmers. And what is the wholesale margin? Wholesale margin refers to the wholesale price minus farm gate price divided by the weighted average retail price, so which is 34%. And retail margin refers to the retail price minus the wholesale price divided by the retail price, which is 23%. So here, the total margin will be 57%. That is 34% plus 23% equals to 57%. So in this case, share to the producer is 43%, and the total margin received from selling by other intermediaries is 57%. So assume the following table for rice of milk in the marketing channel from a farm to Adidas Ababa market indicated based on data concerning the selling and buying price. One can calculate the marketing margin by applying the formula. Price for milk in the marketing channel grown in the farm out. So from the given data, and you can try to calculate gross marketing margin for each channel participants, and also gross marketing margin for producers and total gross marketing margin. So you can try afterwards. I think this is all for the first part of the guest lecturer today. So do you have any questions? If you have any questions, we can further discuss. Otherwise, I think we need to have a break before we continue.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Now, actually, we are in the SOSEC room today. I'm together with 15 students. And just in case you have any question, you can just go forward, replacing my seat. And yeah, just go directly to ask your question. Come in, please. Here. Sini. Introduce yourself first. And
Hello, sir. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andra Dwi Ramadan. So you can call me Andra. So you mentioned
Yeah.
before about middlemen. So
Yeah.
what challenge do farmers face in interacting with middlemen, especially in terms of price negotiations and fairness in profit sharing, and how to overcome the challenge? I think that's all about my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, you're talking about, yeah, we have discussed the middleman. I think the biggest challenge facing by smallholder farmers is the market information. For farmers, they are usually lack of information related to the markets. For example, where they can sell their products and where they can sell, who they can sell their products at higher prices. This is the biggest challenge facing by smallholder farmers. So in order to reduce the information asymmetry or the negotiation power, as I mentioned, it's better to establish the farmer-based organizations or agricultural cooperatives. I'm not sure how do you call it in Indonesia. So in China, we call it agriculture cooperatives. In other countries, in India, they call it farmer-based group. In some countries, they call it collective action or associations. As far as I understand, in Ghana, they call it farmer-based organizations. No matter which type of organizations, their goal is to help smallholder farmers or especially their member farmers. So in order to reduce the challenge facing smallholder farmers, the government in different countries should consider establish such kind of organizations because these kinds of organizations can help to link smallholder farmers to the buyers or to the other buyers or intermediate man. Because for the farmer-based organizations, they can represent farmers or their members to negotiate the price with those middlemen, which can help farmers to get a better price compared with the farmers who sell their products at the spot market. Because selling at the spot market is full of uncertainties. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I hope I can visit your university next year.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we have one more.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourself. Okay, yeah. You can use one.
Good morning, sir. My name
Yeah.
is Ahmad Dani.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon
In New Zealand.
in New Zealand. Okay,
Yeah.
so my name is Ahmad Dhani Anggara, and my questions is from the four approach on your study of agriculture, study of marketing. Which aspect of the approaches is the most efficient in your opinion for establishing sustainable agriculture business for marketing managers?
How to efficiently establish.
For like if you want to make a business on agriculture, there is also a division for marketing. Then which is for the marketing to make the most to choose an approach to study about the agriculture's lingkungan tuh apa sih? Environment on the business.
Sorry, I didn't get the question clearly. Could you please repeat again?
Repeat again.
Okay, I repeat. So I'm sorry. So for approaches to the study of marketing, if we want to study about marketing as a marketing managers, and the four approaches are commodity, institutional functioning, and marketing. I want to ask, if we want to study about marketing, which aspect on the four approaches that you explained is the most efficient and maybe the most easiest to understand for not so experienced managers of marketing, like that?
I think for those four approaches, probably the institutional approach, because the institutional approach focuses on the marketing institutions such as wholesalers and retailers, and also other middle intermediates involved in the marketing channel. So I think currently the best practice is to find out how to reduce the number of marketing institutions in the supply chain, because when we reduce the number of marketing institutions, the profit received by the original producers will increase. That's why currently short supply chain becomes more and more popular in reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So should we have a break now?
Ada lagi? Anyone? Okay. Is it okay, Wanglin, to one more or two more students to ask question? They raise their hands. Is it okay for one or two more question?
Oh yeah, it's okay, because I just saw we have 7 minutes left for the next
Yes.
session.
All
Yes,
right.
and
All right. They are so
I have
excited.
lots of slides for the next session.
Good, good. Okay, okay. Darling, who? Yes, yes. Giga from Bali. Are you from Bali? Yes. This
From
student
Bali.
is from Bali. Yes.
Oh,
You
that's
said that
my
you want to visit Bali.
famous.
I
Oh yeah.
I saw you my picture, right? And she is from Bali. Come
Wow,
here.
that's
You
amazing.
can also tell about Bali.
Wow.
Hello, sir. My name is Putu Giga Hardewi. I'm from Bali, and you can nicely call me Gigi. So, actually, I have two questions today, and for the first one, at firstly, you said that agent middleman is representative of their clients and selling their knowledge of the product. So, what actually the examples of agent middleman? And I think it's a brand ambassador. So brand ambassador is the parts of agent middleman, if I'm not mistaken. And that's So actually my question is what is the examples of the agent middleman itself? And yeah, that's the first questions. May I next to the second questions?
Oh yeah, probably I can answer your first question, and then you can go to your second question.
The second question
No,
is,
I mean, let me answer your first question.
oh yeah. Okay.
So for the agent middleman, they only receive the commission fee by providing services. When they serve as a middleman, for example, you introduce Norway and another, for example, Norway is a producer, and my friend is my friend Sodik here? No.
No,
No.
can see him. He is right now in
In
Taiwan.
Taiwan.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Okay, so suppose Norway is a producer. My friend Sodik is a buyer. You serve as a agent middleman. So you introduce Norway to sell the products to Sodik. So by doing this, you didn't purchase goods from Norway directly. And those two people transact directly. So when the transaction is made, you receive the commission fee. So you just provide such kind of a service. So in this case, you are serving as an agent middleman. For agent middleman, they do not buy products from producers directly. They help facilitate the transaction between buyers and sellers. But for other middlemen, for example, in the wholesalers or retailers, they buy the products from the producers directly, and then resell the products they purchase from producers to others. They try to get the profit from the price difference. For agent middleman, they get the money from the commission fee, service fee. Is that clear?
Yeah, so the agent middleman says they don't have like physical products.
Oh
They
yeah,
just-
yeah, they do not purchase physical products from producers, and they provide service. The service help to link producers and buyers.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So I move to the second questions. Are there alternative models of technologies that could potentially reduce the dependence on middlemen in the agricultural sector? And what are the challenges associated with their implementation if we have the alternative?
Please say it again.
Are there alternative models of technologies that could potentially reduce?
Alternative model.
Yeah, alternative models of technologies that could potentially reduce the dependence on middlemen in the agricultural sector, and what are the challenges associated with their implementation?
What are the challenges associated with implementation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the challenge facing for all types of participants in the supply chain is market uncertainties and market fluctuations, because they cannot control control the quality and quantity and quality of the product, but they cannot control the market uncertainties and fluctuations. So in this case, probably for actors in the supply chain, they need to collaborate well to make the transaction information transparent. Probably by doing this, they can reduce the uncertainties and to maximize their profit.
Okay, thank you. I think
Thank you.
it's clear. So
Yeah.
the challenges is the informations in supply chains and how they can reduce the cost while transforming the products to consumers.
This is another question?
And I think that's all. Thank you.
Yeah,
sir.
okay, thank you. Oh, yeah. It's already 2:50 here.
Nggak ada pertanyaan apa
Uh-huh.
apa gitu nih? No. Is the do you want to
Do you want to come to Bali?
do you want to come
Oh
to
yeah,
Bali?
thank you. Oh yeah. That is a place I'm dreaming to visit. It's so beautiful.
Is it beautiful? Adik jawab deh.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
Which part of Bali are you?
I'm in Denpasar. It's
Denpasar,
the capital city
capital city.
of Bali.
Wow. Oh, so I was thinking Bali is the one place you just mentioned, the capital city of Bali,
Yeah.
Bali Island.
I think.
So Bali is not one place; it has a different cities.
Yeah. Maybe you can visit next time with your
Denpasar.
family. Denpasar
Oh.
is the capital city of
Yeah.
Bali, right?
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, then you have finished.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
have
Let's
finished.
give applause for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye bye. See you
Alright.
later.
See you later. So actually, I have sent the list of international class in Brawijaya University in your WhatsApp later on from your email.
Uh-huh.
Maybe because this class is actually collaboration class from 3 classes, but the main course is for the international class, which
Oh,
is
okay.
contain of 13 students. 12, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I will see you in 8 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, and I need to drink some water
We
and also
have-
release myself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, class, so we are going to have a short
break
Yeah, thank you very
and
much.
come back in 8 minutes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Okay, class, are you ready for the second session? Yes. Thank you. Dr. Wanglin Ma, time is yours.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning again.
Yeah,
So,
usually this is Sadiq's class, but he is now in Taiwan for a conference, so I replace him. Next time you
Oh.
will meet Sadiq all the time.
thank you. Yeah. I'd like to meet both of you.
Okay, yeah. I hope one
Yeah.
day we can meet in person.
Oh yeah, definitely. Both of you are my best friends.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So good morning again. Now you are welcome to the part 2 of today's guest lecture, Demand and Elasticity of Agricultural Products. So we have 3 learning objectives. The first one is to understand demand and its determinants. For this one, we mainly review what we have learned before. Definitely, I believe you have learned what is the demand. We just have a quick review. And the second one is to understand the concept of price elasticity of demand and how to calculate it. And the third part is to understand the factors affecting elasticity of demand. Now, firstly, let's quickly review the law of demand, quantity demanded, demand schedule, and demand curve, as well as the determinants of demand. So the law of the demand, as the price increases or rises, the quantity demanded falls. As the price falls, the quantity demanded for a product increases. So this is the demand curve. So from this figure, we can see there is a negative relationship between price and the quantity demanded for a product. So demand is influenced by the different factors such as income, price of related goods, such as components and substitutes, and taste or consumers' preferences, as well as expectations, as well as and the number of buyers. So here, I have a question. What is the difference between demand and quantity demanded? What is the difference between demand and quantity demanded? So demand refers to the entire curve. The entire curve refers to the demand. Quantity demanded refers to a particular point on the demand curve. So we say the demand is influenced by the different factors. The quantity demanded is only influenced by the price, while demand of the product is influenced by different factors such as income. When income increases, the demand for a product is increasing as well. The price of related goods will also influence the demand for a product. I do believe you have learned this before. So this is shifting demand. When demand increases, the demand curve shifts to the right side. When demand decreases, the demand shifts to the left side. Now let's further look at the economics of demand. The demand curve, elasticity of demand, as well as the changes in demand. The demand curve, the demand, the law of demand and the marginal utility, and also the law of diminishing marginal utility. Let's first look at these items. What is demand? So demand indicates how much of a product consumers are both willing and able to buy at each possible price during a given period, other things remaining constant. So when we're talking about demand, it refers to the quantity of a product that a consumer is happy or willing to buy, and whether he or she can afford it, because purchasing is constrained by the income. The law of demand says that quantity demanded varies inversely with the price, other things constant. Thus, the higher the price, the smaller the quantity demanded for a product. What is the substitution effect? The change in the relative price causes the substitution effect. The relative price is the price of one good relative to the price of other goods. If all prices changed by same margin, there would be no substitution effect. Substitution effect only occurs if the price of one product changes while the price of another product does not change. So for example, for a consumer, he may like to buy pear and banana. If pear's price increases, the consumers will buy more banana. Suppose the price of a banana does not change. What is the income effect? Money income refers to the number of dollars you receive per period, for example, per week or per month. Real income measures in terms of how many goods and services you can buy. When consumers' income increase, they can afford more products, they will buy more. Now let's look at the diminishing marginal utility. Marginal utility refers to the additional satisfaction you derive from each item. Why do you eat apple? Because eating apple can give you utility or satisfaction. When you eat more apples, the utility is disappearing or reducing. That is a diminishing marginal utility. When you consume a product, the utility you received from consuming the product is reducing when you increase the number of the product you are consuming. So the law of marginal utility means you derive from each additional item consumed decreases as you consume increases. So what are the individual demand and market demands? So for example, when the price of a pizza is $15 and the quantity demanded is 8 million per week, when the price of the pizza reduced to $3, the quantity demanded per week for pizza will increase to 32 million. So here we can see when the price of a product reduces, the quantity demanded for the product will increase. So clearly, price determines the quantity demanded for a product. So in the market, we have different people who are demanding for the same product. For example, for Hector, this person, when the price of a pizza is $12, he wants to buy one. And when the price reduces to $4 per pizza, he wants to buy 3. For Brianna, when the price is 8, he wants to buy 1. And when the price reduces to 4, she wants to buy 2. And for Chris, he wants to buy 1 pizza if the price is $4. I mean, for different consumers, they have different demands. So this is the individual demands. Individual demands are different. So market demand is the sum of the individual demands. So from the individual demand, we can get the market demand. Market demand equals to the sum of individual demands. Now let's look at the elasticity. Elasticity allows us to analyze the supply and demand with greater precision. Elasticity is a measure of how much buyers and sellers respond to changes in market conditions. A measure of the extent to which quantity demanded and quantity supplied respond to variations in price, income, and other factors. Why does it matter? In the agriculture sector, elasticity can help us to understand how quickly can agriculture output respond to prices and how much is the demand for food affected by prices. And can the supply respond to price change and how does the demand respond to natural resources? In today's lecture, we will mainly talk about price elasticity of demand. This is a common elasticity, the most popular one. The price elasticity of demand is a measure of how much the quantity demanded for a product responds to a change in the price of that good. When we talk about elasticity, that responsive is always measured in percentage terms. Specifically, the price elasticity of demand is a percentage change in quantity demanded due to a percentage change in the price. For example, we can say when the price of a product changes 1%, how much the quantity demanded for the product will change. Measure product elasticity of a measure of the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a good to a change in the price of that good? How does your demand for goods change in response to an increase in price? The price elasticity of demand is computed as the percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. The price elasticity of demand equals to percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. So this is the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. Here, we will look at how to calculate price elasticity of demand. So here example, if the price of ice cream cone increases from $2 to $2.2, and the amount you buy falls from 10 to 8, because for consumers, when the price of a product increases, they will reduce the quantity they are going to purchase. Then your elasticity of demand would be calculated as the percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. So how can we calculate it? So here, the percentage change in quantity demanded is 10 minus 8 divided by 10. 10 is the original quantity times 100 divided by price change. And 2.2 divided by 2 divided by 2. So 2 is the final price, is the original price received by consumers. So here the elasticity is 2. That means when the price of ice cream increases by 1%, the quantity demanded for the ice cream will decrease by 2%. So this is another example. The price of interval organic produce falls by 2%, and the quantity demanded increases by 6%. So in this case, the price elasticity of demand for local organic produce is 6% divided by 2%, which is 3. So this total revenue for interval farmers will increase. And for any product, the total expenditure equals to price of the product received by farmers times the quantity produced by farmers. So market demand measures the quantity at each price P. So total expenditure equals to total revenue. We say small changes in quantity supplied lead to large changes in price. This is the price inelastic, and the fluctuations in supply lead to fluctuations in economy. When the economy is unstable, it will lead to price inelastic. Unstable markets makes it very difficult to plan or invest and undermine quality of life. So what is inelastic demand? Quantity demanded does not respond strongly to price change. Price elasticity of demand is less than 1. So we say if the price changes 1%, the quantity demanded for a product is less than 1%. That means the product is inelastic. Elastic means the quantity demanded responded strongly to changes in price. price elasticity of demand is greater than 1. So when the price changes 1 unit, the quantity demanded for that product will change more than 1 unit. Now let's look at the price elasticity of demand in this example. So in this example, we can say the elasticity is the price elasticity of demand is 3. So we can say the demand of the price is elastic because the price elasticity of demand is higher than 3. So when the price of a product changes in 1 unit, the quantity demanded for that product will change 3 units. Now let's look at the different types of elasticity. We have a perfectly inelastic and perfectly elastic. For the perfectly inelastic, that means the quantity demanded does not respond to price changes. For example, salt. If the price of salt increases or decreases, this does not increase or decrease of your demand for salt. And another one is perfectly elastic. Quantity demanded changes infinitely with any change in price. For example, the jewelries. If the demand for jewelry is very sensitive to the price. And also the unit elastic. Quantity demanded changes by the same percentage at the price. When price changes 1 unit, the quantity demanded will also change for 1 unit. Because the price elasticity of demand measures how much quantity demanded responds to price, it is closely related to the slope of the demand curve, but it is not the same thing as the slope. Now let's look at perfectly inelastic demand. So in this case, the elasticity equals to 0. So no matter how the price change, the quantity demanded for example, salt, no matter how the price of salt change, the people's demand for salt will not change. The second example is the inelastic demand. The elastic is less than 1. That means when a price of a product changes 1 unit, the quantity demanded for the product changes less than 1 unit. So here in this example, when the price of a product changes from $4 to $5, the quantity, the price increases by 22%. However, this leads to a decrease in quantity demanded for this product by 11%. Now let's look at the third example, unit elastic demand. That means elasticity equals 1. This means when the product, when the price of a product increases, the same amount. When the price, in this example, when the price of a product increases from $4 to $5, the quantity demanded for the product will decrease from 100 to 800. And both of them, one increase by 22%, another one will decrease by 22%. So in this example, when the price of a product increases 1 unit, the demands for that product will decrease 1 unit as well. And this example is elastic. That means the quantity demanded change higher than the change in price for a product, the price change for a product. The next example is a perfectly elastic demand. At any price above $4, quantity demanded is 0. This means that the quantity demanded for a product increases when the price of a product is not changing. So what are the determinants of demand elasticity? The first example is availability of substitutes. The greater the availability of a substitute for a good, the greater the goods the goods elasticity of demand, and also the share of consumers' budget spent on the good. And when there's an increase in price, the increase in price reduces the demand because people are not both willing and able to purchase at higher prices because of consumers' budget. The third one is a matter of time. The longer the adjustment period, the greater the consumer's ability to substitute. For example, for some consumers, it takes some time for them to increase income to respond to the increasing prices. So their consumption will have to change. Another one is some elasticity estimates. The elasticity of demand is greater in the long run because consumers have more time to adjust. Consumers' income will change over time in the long run, but normally they will not change in the short run. Now, let's look at the selected elasticities of demand. So in the short run, for the electricity, the elasticity is 0.1, but in the long run, the elasticity of demand might be 1.9. For air travel, in the short run, the elasticity is 0.1. In the long run, the elasticity might be 2.4. And medical care and hospitalization, the elasticity of demand will increase. And for the gasoline, that is petrol, the elasticity will also increase. And movies, and also natural gas. And the elasticity, we see the demand is influenced by consumer income, the prices of related goods, and also the number and composition of consumers, and also the consumer expectations, and also consumer tastes. And these factors will also finally influence the elasticity of demand for a product. So for example, if income increases, consumers are willing and able to buy more of the good. So the demand will increase. When the demand increases, the demand curve will shift to the right side, or we say the demand curve will move to the right side. There are two categories of the good: normal good and inferior good. For the normal good, the demand increases as money income increases. When you have more money, your demand for normal goods will increase. And for some inferior goods, demand decreases as money income increases. So for consumers, when they have less money, they prefer to buy inferior goods. But when their income increases, their demand for inferior goods will decrease, but their demand for normal goods will increase. And here, the example of the inferior goods include, for example, used clothing, bus rides. So when your income increases, definitely you will use bus less because you can afford a taxi, or you can afford purchasing buy a car by yourself. And also the substitutes. A decrease in price of one item will reduce the demand for a substitute. So for example, for a consumer, she likes to buy banana and orange. We say banana and orange are two substitutes goods. For a consumer, he usually buy banana. If the banana's price decreases, he will buy less orange. Suppose the price of the orange does not change. So previously, for a consumer, he has no preference for banana and orange. He can either consume banana or orange to get required nutrition. If the price of a banana decreases, he will buy more banana, and his demand for orange will decrease. And another one is complements. Certain goods used together. Example, airline tickets and car rentals. When you go to the airport, you have to use car, or you have to use regional train. They are together. They are combined together. When you use more airplane, and your consumption of the public transportation or car rental will increase as well. So a decrease in the price of one shifts the demand of the another right away. For the complement goods, if your consumption for one good decreases, your consumption for another good will decrease as well. For example, for the ink and the pen, if consumers' demand for pen decreases, the demand for ink will decrease as well. So for complementary goods, they change. The quantity demanded for them change in the same direction. But for substitute goods, the demand for these two goods, they change in different directions. For substitute goods, a decrease in price of one item will increase the demand for the product, while the demand for its substitute good will decrease. So we see change in size or composition of the population will increase demand and also shift the demand curve to the right side, because when population increases, the demand will increase as well. So it is predicted that the global population will increase by increase to 9.7 billion. By increasing the population, the food demand will have to increase by 70% to satisfy the food demand of the increasing population. And also changes in consumer expectations can shift the demand curve to the left or the right side. If consumers prefer one product, they buy more, and the demand curve will shift to the right side. And also change in consumer tastes. Tastes are your likes and dislikes as a consumer. When consumer prefer to buy something, or when they prefer the taste of a good, they will buy more of that product. A change in price causes a movement along the demand curve and change the quantity demanded. A change in one of the determinants of demand or the price causes a shift in demand curve. So to conclude that the price change of a product only changes the quantity demanded, that is one point on the demand curve. However, the change in one of the factors influencing the demand will change the demand curve. How the role of time change. So people's willingness to pay more for time-saving goods depends on the opportunity cost of their time. So what is the opportunity cost? Opportunity cost refers to the benefits a consumer has to give up when choosing its alternative. So factors affecting elasticity of demand. So factors affecting elasticity of demand is depending on whether the good is a luxury good or a necessity. Necessities have a relative inelastic demand, even if there is an increase in price, the quantity demanded will not fall to a great extent. For example, for rice, we eat rice every day, so rice is a necessity. So rice has a relative inelastic demand. That means when the price of rice increases or decreases, people's demand for rice will not change too much. And the price elasticity of demand is higher for products that are regarded as luxuries. For example, for jewelry. If the price of jewelry will decrease, people's demand for jewelry will dramatically increase. And also it depends on whether the good has any close substitutes. Goods with close substitutes tends to have a highly elastic demand because consumers are sensitive to the price of the substitute goods. When the price of one good increases, they will decrease the consumption of the good and tend to buy its substitutes. If the price increases, the demand is likely to contract more than proportionately. Goods and services with few or no close substitutes, such as water supply, would have inelastic demand. Even if price increases, people cannot switch to another product. So water demand is inelastic because there's no substitute. And also the expenditure on the product as a proportion of income. For consumers, they are facing income constraints. So their purchasing decision is influenced by the expenditure on the product. For example, for a student, you have a certain amount of money each month. You need to spend how much money you should spend on fruits and vegetables, and how much money you should purchase water, how much money you should spend on food in university canteen. So items which take up a very small proportion of a person's income would have a lower price elasticity of demand, whereas the demand for more expensive items would tend to be more elastic because for expensive items, people are more sensitive to the change of its prices. The last one is the length of the time subsequent to a price change. If the price falls, may take time to become aware and adjust to the price change. And sometimes people are very sensitive to the price change. And for other products, people are not sensitive to the price change. So if the product change increase, the price of a product increases, consumers may take time to seek out alternative and substitute products. So this factor will also influence the elasticity of demand. I think that's all I would like to share with you about the elasticity and the demand for a Product, Norway. And if you have any questions, we can discuss a little bit. Otherwise, we stop here.
Bentar ya, brother. Okay, thank you for your explanation. Now it's time for, do you want to grab a drink first or can we proceed with Q&A?
Oh, yes, we can proceed Q&A.
Okay, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for Q&A. I think the guy from the corners. Okay, do you want to use your laptop or mine? Yes, on cam, please. Mhm. Okay, come here. It's okay. Because it's going to take forever. Yes. Ya. Maju ke sini boleh, diperkenalkan dulu, Adik.
Oh.
Okay, hello, Mr. Wanglin. Let me introduce myself.
Volume up, yes.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Wanglin. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Atsal. So my question is about the determinants of demand elasticity in the some elasticity estimates. So it said that the elasticity of demand is greater in the long run because consumers have more time to adjust. So my question is, what is the meaning of more time to adjust? Like adjusting what?
Oh, I mean to be used to the change in price. So for example, when the price of a product increase today, and for some consumers, they cannot accept the price because they found the price increase is too how to say too short. They cannot adjust themselves to adapt to the change, but in the long time, they can gradually accept the price. For example, for petrol, and then today, do you drive a car? Do you drive a car?
You drive a car?
No, I'm riding a motorcycle actually.
Oh, you have a motorbike.
Yeah.
That's cool. You must have a girlfriend. Okay, so for example, for the petrol price, and the petrol price is let's say $2 per liter yesterday, and then the price of petrol increases to $3 per liter today, and it's very hard for you to accept the change in price, but over time, in the long run, you can gradually accept the increase of the petrol. In the short run, you found this is ridiculous, but in the long run, you can accept the price. So for consumers, it takes some time to adjust themselves to the change in prices of the products.
Is that, answer your question?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Wanglin.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you on your campus.
All right, second question, please. Yeah, okay, come forward. Introduce yourself, please. Yes, you first. Okay. Thank you, Asal. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for having me. So I still curious about first. Okay. So first of all, let me introduce myself first. My name is Fahdia. And so today, actually, I still curious about one topic in the first session towards the physical function. So you said and explained about the packaging and the physical function. So my question is that so agricultural products need to proper package to maintain the quality and but how to manage that in the same time we need to support for the zero waste such as less plastic for the sustainability. I think that's all for my question.
Yeah, please say it again. I didn't get it clearly.
I see.
Sorry.
So for agricultural products that you have already explained before, need like a proper packaging to maintain the quality. But how to manage that in the same time we need to support the sustainability such as like the zero waste such as less plastic for the sustainability itself.
So how to maintain the quality from the packaging?
I mean how to manage the packaging.
How to manage the packaging?
Yeah, how to manage the packaging when we actually want to support the zero waste for the sustainability such as less plastic.
Oh yeah, that is a very hard question. For the actors in the supply chain, and packaging is not avoidable. And in order to promote the products, they must use packaging. And in order to support the sustainability, they should use some it is suggested they should use some less packaging materials and use some I forgot the word. It's called biodegradable. Do you know biodegradable? Biodegradable.
I see that.
Yeah, biodegradable. So it is suggested to use the biodegradable material for the packaging, but this will also increase the cost of the marketing cost of the product. And like in New Zealand, when you go to the supermarkets, the plastic bags are not provided. I'm not sure. Do you have to bring your own bag when you go to the supermarket? And here we must bring our own bag when you go to the supermarket.
Yeah, of course. Like I usually such as like from this past months, I always go to supermarket and bring my own bag to support the less plastic.
Can you get plastic bags for free when you buy something?
I'm sorry?
Can you get plastic bags for free when you buy something from the supermarket?
But usually the cashier always asks me to have plastic or not, but I usually decline it because I have my own bags.
Oh yeah, and that's good. So in New Zealand, plastic bags are not allowed to use by supermarket. You have to buy paper bag, or you have to bring your own bag when you buy something. So you mentioned that the packaging will challenge the sustainability issue. So in this case, we should suggest the packagers or the companies to use less materials when they are packaging, and to have a very simple packaging. This is one way. The second way is to use biodegradable materials as a packaging material.
I see that. So it basically we need to just like start to change slowly for the materials itself for our packaging for like the agricultural products itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So you're very welcome. Yeah, that's good. You support the Sustainable Development Goals released by the United Nations.
Okay, I see. Thank you so much, sir, for having
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you. One more question, please.
Oh.
The one with the red, Mr. with the red first, and then after that you. Two more question again, Dr. Wanglin, is it okay? Yes. Aksanu, please. Yes.
Trust or no? Yeah.
Okay, first, introduce myself. My name is Sanat Marji, and people usually call me Sanu. So my question is, as we all know, that climate change is an ongoing problem, right? So whether the problem has an impact on the demand for agricultural products to be reduced or vice versa. If so, is there a government policy, especially in the New Zealand government, toward the problem?
Yeah. I didn't get the question clearly. Probably. I mean, the question is not very clear. The voice.
Maybe you can use my laptop here. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the same color, right? So I will repeat my question. So as we all know that climate change is ongoing problem. So whether the problem has an impact to be reduced, sorry, whether the problem has an impact on the demand for agricultural product to be reduced or vice versa. If so, is there a government policy, especially in the New Zealand government, towards the problem?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, climate change influences various sectors, and agriculture sector is no exception. So in order to reduce the negative influences from agriculture production, the government in different countries trying to suggest farmers or other producers trying to use some, we call it climate smart agriculture practices or technologies. This is the way government does. They try to promote climate smart agriculture technologies and practices in order to reduce the influence of agricultural production. So this is a general question. So for government, they try to promote producers to adopt climate smart agriculture practices or technologies. For example, for farmers, they are suggested to use soil and water conservation practice or drought tolerant varieties to reduce the impact of climate change on agricultural production. I'm not sure whether you get me clearly.
Or what's the point? What is the point for the answering? Can you make it simple for the answering?
Oh yeah,
Because I really didn't get it. What's the point?
Okay, yeah. I mean, to reduce the negative impact of agriculture production, the government is promoting the producers, or the government is encouraging the producers to adopt climate smart agriculture practices or technologies. So after the lecture, you can Google. You can check Google to say what is climate smart agriculture practices. Yeah. From the policy side, they promote the adoption of climate smart agriculture practices.
And just what? Okay. Okay. Thank you for the answering, and it's answering my question.
Yeah,
Thank you
great.
so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
One
Let
last
me
one, please.
let me type it here for you.
Boy.
This is called
One more question, please.
one more question. Oh, you can search this word. It's called climate smart agriculture practices or technologies. This is from the government perspective. They promote the adoption of climate smart agriculture practices or technologies in order to. Hey, can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah, yes. Okay, so they try to promote the adoption of climate smart agriculture practices or technologies to reduce the impact of climate change on agriculture production. So you can Google it by yourself. What is climate smart agriculture, or what is the climate smart practices?
Dijelasin loh,
Oh.
nggak percaya kalau dijelasin.
Climate smart practices or technologies. Yeah, okay, so what's your question, sir?
Okay, thank you for having me, sir. My question is, what kind of strategy that can engaging the demand of agricultural product, and what is the most critical consideration in making that strategy?
What is the strategy to increase the demand for agricultural products?
Yes.
I mean, the demand of agricultural products is influenced by various factors, such as income. Helping farmers or helping consumers to increase their income is a way to increase the demand for the agriculture products, and also increase the quality and the diversity of the agriculture products will also help to increase the demand for the product and for the demand of agriculture products. I mean, helping increase the demand for agriculture products. There are many ways to increase it. One way to increase the demand is to increase the income. And also increase the quality of the product, and increase the product variety to make consumers have more choices. Yeah, I mean, there's no accurate answer to this question. It depends on reality.
Tergantung faktor.
There is the big answers and the reality. Because each country might have different regulation and policy. Yes. Maybe it works for the New Zealand, but yeah, the vice versa also, right? Okay.
So the right answer is, I think, like we must make a good observation first, right? About, I think yeah, observation.
Iya, lanjut aja.
Ya udah sih.
Does it answer your question?
Yes, thank you,
Okay.
sir,
Thank
for
you. Thank you, sir.
answering my question.
All right, all right. Okay. Me again.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
good.
Thank you for your enthusiastic for this Q&A. Now please give applause for all of you. Next week we are going to meet with Dr. Sodik. Okay. So yeah. Is there anything that you would like to ask Mr. Dr. Wanglin Ma again? Ada lagi? Okay. Yes, please. Come forward. I have like Instagram.
Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Taskia Iza. You can call me Taski, and I would like to discuss about the problem in Indonesia, like about unstable weather. So the farm work here, like the chili farm work, they are use a lot of pesticides because the use of a lot of pesticides also can has impact to the agricultural products. And if they not using a lot of pesticides, they will not has like a good production result. So is there any specific technology in New Zealand that applied there to solve this problem? I think that's all my question.
Okay, thank you. I think that is not a problem facing New Zealand. It's a problem facing all over the world. We know that for pesticides, increasing the chemical pesticides, increasing the usage of chemical pesticides and chemical fertilizer will definitely increase the farm productivity. However, using more chemical fertilizer and pesticides will pollute the environment and influence the health of the consumers. So in this way, in many countries, they are promoting the usage of organic fertilizer, or we call it green pesticides, or okay, so you are talking about pesticides. When we are talking about pesticides, we are talking with pesticides and fertilizer together. For pesticides, in order to reduce the negative impact of chemical pesticides on agriculture production, in many countries, they are promoting the use of green pesticide, or we call it integrated pest management technology. Did you get the point?
Yeah.
To use a green pesticide and integrated pest management technology to substitute chemical pesticides. This is a way used by many countries to reduce the negative impact of chemical pesticides. So let me type the word for you. I'm not sure whether in Indonesia do you have green pesticides or biopesticides? Let me type the words here for you. Okay, so it's called biopesticides, or we call it green pesticides.
Biopesticides, yes, we have.
I'm not sure whether you have it there. And another one is integrated pest management technology. So they use these two methods to substitute or we say replace chemical pesticides with either biopesticides or green pesticides or integrated pest management technology, you can check what is IPM.
IBM. We have IBM in Indonesia also. With different method, microbes. Apa aja tadi? Could you please mention it?
Yeah, so reduce or replace chemical pesticides with biopesticides or integrated pest management technology. This is a way to reduce the negative impact of chemical pesticides on agriculture production.
So maybe we must to like educate the farm work in Indonesia to use the biopesticide.
Oh yes, and the first way is to educate farmers to use train farmers how to use these technologies. And the second way is that government may provide subsidies with farmers because biopesticides biopesticides are usually more expensive than chemical pesticides. Yeah, okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now you go. Let's discuss the question while we ask questions, okay?
Hello,
Oh,
sir. I'm back.
yeah, great.
I want to ask my question is how do New Zealand can with 4 seasons in New Zealand, how do New Zealand can accomplish and can implementing climate smart change with that 4 season in that, and what plants are dominant in New Zealand? What plants are cultivated dominant in agricultural commodities?
This is a tough question because in New Zealand, government does not make actions to support agriculture production. So in this country, it is very different from other developing countries. They have an agriculture department, but they do not really influence. They do not really influence farmers' production behavior. So for farmers, and here in New Zealand, we do not have a small scale farmers. We only have a large scale farmers. So for large scale farmers, they try to adapt to the environment, the climate change by themselves, by taking some actions. For example, they use less nitrogen.
What?
Less budget.
Less budget.
I mean, in this country, the government does not play too much role in influencing agriculture production. For farmers, they try to adopt some technologies by themselves to combat climate change. This is different from developing countries like India, Indonesia, or China.
Okay. Can you give me a specific example again? Because I don't have
Because your question is trying to ask how New Zealand implement climate. Your question is how New Zealand implement measures to combat climate change in agriculture sector. Is that your question?
Ya, tentunya bisa dijawab kalau pemerintahan itu tidak terlalu banyak, tapi dia itu ada beberapa pertanian tertentu untuk mengerjakan itu di New Zealand gitu deh. Alright?
Ya, pakai less budget yang tadi.
Yes, and I'm trying to say in New Zealand, the government doesn't play too much role in influencing agriculture production. And farmers here work as a self-funded business. So for farmers, they choose to adopt some climate smart agriculture practices to combat climate change. This is not influenced by the government in this country. So this is different from New Zealand is different from other developing countries such as Indonesia or China. So in Indonesia or China, government can influence production behaviors of farmers. For example, they can promote some technologies among farmers, or they can tell farmers you should reduce the pesticides. But in this country, they can't.
Okay,
Okay.
I think it's clear.
Okay.
So the point is the farmers have to adapt with climate change and less budgets and promote to reduce chemical pesticides.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Oh, time is flying.
Yang mana? Bu.
Okay, next question, please. Because we have discussed, I mean, me and the student discussed, because you know that New Zealand and Indonesia lays in the equator area, so we can plant anything from annual and also seasonal, like horticulture and etc. So they are very interested to ask question more, since the New Zealand lays next to you lays next to Australia and also the South Pole, right? Is it very cool there? So maybe the condition will have influence to the commodity system, right? In the New Zealand, right? So
yeah,
they firstly would like to know what kind of agricultural commodities that is usually grown by farmers there. And the second question from my student is you have 4 seasons also, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Here we have a full season. How many seasons do you have?
We have 2, dry and wet season. So for example, like paddy production, we can do it both in wet and dry system with different management and different system of production. So what happened in what is special that you have for season, meaning that one season, if it is compared to Indonesia, I don't know, because I have not yet visit the New Zealand, so this is only my guess. Yeah, maybe in one season you produce plants for the demand of food, and what happened next? How you try to fulfill the need of food of New Zealand?
Oh, yeah, because New Zealand is an island country. Most of the products were imported from other countries, because in this country, the main the farming is focusing on sheep, cows, and deer, and this country does not grow too much fruits and vegetables. They grow some, but not too much. Most of the fruits and vegetables are imported from other countries. Therefore, in this country, the price of vegetables and fruits are higher than the price of meat.
Okay.
So in Indonesia, probably the beef's price is higher than the price of apple.
Yes, we have some, if we see from the theory that you explained earlier, of course, in Indonesia, we have peak season where many like fruit and vegetables are harvested in the same time like that. And we also have the other way. Apa sih? Musim
Greenhouse.
yeah. Peak season where people harvest it. So at the time there is abundant number of yield. For example, like
Yeah.
paddy, we grows paddy for 3 times in a year
Wow.
because it grows around 3 months approximately. So at the time, because we eat rice basically in Indonesia, we don't eat bread or drink milk. So therefore, yes, dairy is maybe not main food in Indonesia, right? So that is
Yeah.
the
That's a difference.
condition.
And
Yes, the
yeah.
difference.
Yeah, in New Zealand, most of the fruits and the vegetables are imported from other countries. This country produce a little bit fruits and vegetables such as apples, but for most of the fruits and vegetables, they were imported from other countries. That's why the prices of fruits and vegetables are higher than the price of meats here.
Okay, then okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, in
the country
Malang is
difference.
place for produce the apple. Sometimes we also experience the peak season of apple, especially in Malang. Therefore, you need to come to
Yeah,
Malang.
thank you.
Yes.
So
Okay.
so your university is green the whole year round.
Yes, but you can see that nowadays, today, this month, and another 1 month or 2 months ahead is dry season. So we experience a very, the wind is very strong. Yeah, the wind is very strong. There is no rain. It is good for outdoor activities. But nowadays, because of the climate change, maybe the climate change happen in Indonesia might be different with those in New Zealand, right? So in Indonesia, it has to do with the season. We experience wet season more than dry season. Next time, Sodik will tell you about it because he is also agricultural economist, how the season and the climate change has an effect on the price, on the situation. Because I do agree that this condition also increase the instability of the food production in Indonesia. Like that.
Yeah,
All right.
that's good.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a very good Q&A session and lectures with you. It's 11:23, but it's okay to finish so that you can also pick your son.
My son.
Earlier. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. See you next
Thank
Tuesday.
you. Okay, class. So that's all of the lectures today. We would like to say thank you to Dr. Wanglin Ma. Give applause.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Okay.
I
Bye
represent
bye.
the 1,000 students in here to give you applause.
Yeah. Thank you.
Then next week they will come with the laptop, so you can join. You can introduce your name to Dr. Wanglin Ma, and I will send you the list of the students because they also love to speak English and gain more knowledge from you. All right,
Yeah, sure.
that's
Okay,
all.
thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye.
From Indonesian students, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'll see you again next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.